Pro tip, if you're gonna ride 1,000 miles in a hot summer weekend, maybe get in shape for it. And if you're riding 2 up on a fully loaded bagger, that's not riding, that's a full body workout in 100-degree heat. And me, I didn't even pack water. Yeah, not a big brain move. Also, I think my helmet hit its sweat saturation point and just gave up. And you know what's wild? I felt more rested while riding. It was only when we stopped to sightsee that my body finally realized that it wanted to die. And that was just day 1. All right, let's get one thing straight. This is not a video about what to pack for a long ride. There's no spreadsheets, there's no checklist. This is just some honest realizations that I had after knocking out 1,000 miles in one weekend. In 100-degree summer heat, mind you. Now, this wasn't some iron butt run, and I know a lot of you out there have knocked out 1,000 miles in a day. But this wasn't a long interstate run from A to B. This was 1,000 miles through active, twisty mountain roads going anywhere from 15 to 45 miles an hour. So we're talking 7, 8, even 9 hours in the seat every day for 4 consecutive days. Now that I think about it, maybe Iron Butt should have an award for consecutive hours in a seat rather than consecutive miles. Anyway, here's what I learned. There's this strange thing that happens when you ride for hours on end. You'd think it would wear you down mile by mile, like some slow grind of body and mind. But nope, at least for me, it's the opposite. Out there on the bike, your brain shuts up. The bills, the emails, the deadlines, all that stuff fades into the background. The bike becomes an extension of you. And strangely, while you're riding, you feel rested. Then you stop. And that's when your body files the formal complaint. You don't realize how deep the exhaustion runs until after you dismount and walk across the gas station parking lot and nearly fold like a lawn chair. Turns out, your body can hold on to fatigue like a sneaky little goblin, just waiting to unload it the moment the kickstand goes down. I think that's one of the most surprising things about long distance riding. It's mentally soothing, but physically, it wears you out in ways you don't feel until you're off the bike. And by then, it's too late. You're already shuffling your boots like they're full of wet cement. This is probably a good point to interject an honorable mention here, which is make sure you've got a good seat. It can make all the difference. Me personally, I've got a great seat on my Nomad, and that's one thing that never really bothered me. But our poor son on the new Fat Boy with its still stock seat, yeah, that was a whole nother story by day 3 and 4. Oh, dude, is this where we were gonna pull off? Okay.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, this thing needs a new seat, man.
So yeah, out there in motion, I felt calm and clear-headed. But the moment I hopped off the bike, my body reminded me it isn't 25 anymore. And I guess that's really realization number 1. Just because you feel rested doesn't mean your body's not keeping score. Every rider has that invisible line where comfort turns into cramping and peaceful cruising turns into you counting down the seconds until the next stop. Yeah, for me, that's 2 hours. After that, I need to stretch. I need to get up and walk around and maybe think about my life choices. Now, I know a lot of you maniacs are out there riding tank to tank like caffeinated robots. But for us mere mortals, especially for those of us on a loaded bagger with a passenger, 2 hours, that's my red line. Once you hit that fatigue point, you stop noticing scenery and it starts to feel more like work than fun. And a quick stretch usually resets all that. And here's the thing, it's smart to know where that line is. Fatigue literally slows down your reaction time. When you're navigating switchbacks or hairpin turns or just riding through densely packed tourist towns in 100-degree heat, that delay matters. To be fair, it really wasn't that big of a problem because we were usually stopping for some reason during that time frame anyway. Mostly for little things like overlooks, refueling, food, and of course, replacing GoPro batteries. And those intervals can save your butt, literally and figuratively. And look, this wasn't a race. We were just enjoying nature's scenery. So yeah, 2 hours per leg was about my limit, and I'm okay with that. The real feel over our 4 days went something like 98, 99, 102, and 103. And that kind of heat teaches you a lot about the importance of hydration and a good helmet. I mean, I knew it was hot. What I didn't know was that my helmet was going to become a crock pot. By day 2, it crossed some natural threshold and went from protective gear to moisture trap. I could hang it in front of the hotel air conditioner all night, and by morning, yeah, still soggy and nasty. And I already knew this old helmet has a hot spot on the forehead, and it's gotten a little bit loose, because if you weren't already aware, aging helmets lose up to 20% of their padding over time as the foam compresses and the liners break down. And suddenly that minor hot spot turned into a full-blown friction cannon. By the end of the day, I wasn't sure if my forehead was sore or if my brain was trying to exit my body. It literally rubbed my forehead raw. Now, to be fair, I have a newer helmet, but like a true procrastinator, I haven't moved over all the vlogging setup to it yet. And speaking of heat, let's talk hydration. We were in the mountains, but it still felt like we were riding through Satan's convection oven. And I did not put drinks in the saddlebags. Big mistake. Because here's the thing, dehydration doesn't just make you thirsty, it makes you stupid. Slower reaction time, less focus, you start missing turns, making sketchy throttle inputs. So I think from now on I'll put a couple of drinks in the saddlebag and not just count on being able to get something wherever we happen to stop. Because sometimes you can't, and you don't want to wait until you feel thirsty, because by then it's too late. Your body is already hitting low power mode. Also, side note here, can we talk about wind burn? I had my visor cracked open a lot to get some air. That's just smart, right? Nope. That hot breeze will roast your face like a rotisserie chicken. By day 3, I looked like a tomato with a mustache. I legit thought I had sunburn, but how is that even possible when the sun's not hitting your face? No, it was just the wind trying to exfoliate me into a leather handbag. So between the sweat, the liner stew, the wind burn, and the nuclear temperatures, this ride taught me more about skin and fluid management than a semester of nursing school. Moral of the story, boys and girls, ride with a good helmet and hydrate like it's your job. And maybe embrace face lotion. You'll thank me when your cheeks stop burning. But let's roll on. Okay, real talk here. Riding 2 up on a fully loaded touring bike isn't just a test of skill. It's a test of strength, control, and patience. At some point it stops being a motorcycle and starts acting like a top-heavy elephant that's daring you to drop it. And I'm not saying I'm out of shape, but okay, yes, I'm admitting I'm out of shape. But after about 500 miles, everything starts to take significantly more effort. Balancing at stoplights, parking lot turns, even putting the kickstand down without throwing your whole hip into it like you're auditioning for Riverdance. Long rides don't just wear out your gear, they wear out you. So yeah, this ride made one thing painfully clear. I need to get in better shape. Not just to look better in my gear, but to ride better and longer. Especially when I've got someone else on the back who's depending on me. Dovetailing right into that is the very real fact that as you get tired, you slow down. Which sounds smart, right? You're worn out, so you back off a little. You be more cautious, you take it easy. Only one problem though. Slower doesn't always mean safer. Sometimes it means sloppier. You might find yourself braking too early or overcorrecting mid-turn. It's like you left your instincts back at the overlook, still eating beef jerky, while you try to navigate that decreasing radius curve with half a brain and a sore back. The twisties demand focus and rhythm. When you get tired, that rhythm breaks. And before you know it, you're upright in a curve you should be leaning into. Fatigue just makes everything worse. Your clutch hand gets lazy, your throttle control gets twitchy, and your decision making, let's just say it goes from chess to checkers real fast. I've been at this a while, so I've gotten pretty good at route planning. But on this trip, you know what I completely spaced out on? The stuff along the route. You know, the diners, the weird roadside attractions, the legendary biker stops. Those things with regular hours of operation. Case in point, have you guys ever heard of Two Hills of Suches? It's like hallowed ground for Georgia motorcyclists. We tried to stop there 3 times. 3. They were closed every time. Turns out you practically need a Ouija board to figure out when they're going to be open. Or just check it ahead of time. And the day we were headed up towards Blue Ridge, I noticed that there was this Bigfoot museum along the route. So naturally I was like, oh man, we have to check that out. And we would have, except we literally showed up minutes after they took in the last group. Missed it by that much. And look, I'm not even mad about it. It's part of the charm. But it did teach me something. If you're planning routes, don't just plan the route. Zoom in. Look at the places along the route that interest you. Places you might want to stop at. And for the record, I still want to see that damn Bigfoot museum. Let me paint you a picture. It's hot. You're low on gas. You've been sweating through your gear for hours. And you roll into a tiny little mountain town with a gas pump and a sign that says, home of the world's best barbecue chicken feet. And another sign that says, cash only. Or maybe you need cash to park at those scenic national and state parks. Or for a vending machine for that very much needed Powerade. I mean, who even carries cash anymore? It's 2025. Everything's tap, swipe, chip, blink, wave your phone, telepathy, whatever. But up in the mountains, some of these little places didn't get that memo. I learned this the hard way. Not because there weren't places to get cash, but because it seems like none of them worked. It took 3 tries and a lot of wasted writing time to finally find a working ATM. And from that moment on, I made sure to have cash on hand. There's a big dam right there we can ride across. We'll ride across that when we go to Tallulah Gorge. Parking. Oh, I didn't get money. God.
Oh,
are you kidding me?
Wanted to go to that?
no, he's working on the ATM. There's a machine.
Jesus Christ, man. Helen is like a dysfunctional. If Fairfield Inn's ATM is not working, I'm gonna shit myself.
Please don't. That's gross.
Well, luckily for you, they have a bathroom in the lobby.
Yeah. One of these days, you're going to learn not to
Skin cat.
wish that into existence.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my God, it's out of service.
If it's not working, don't freak out.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna freak out. Okay. I have some cash. So everybody who's watching right now, if you can take a trip to Helen, make sure you bring plenty of cash ahead of time, because you may not be able to get any once you get here. Here's the truth. Long riding over multiple days, it'll teach you stuff. It'll show you where your limits are. You learn to listen to your body. You learn when it's time to stop, when it's time to push, and when it's time to laugh at things instead of complaining, and when to pull over. Not because you have to, but because something looks cool and worth remembering. It taught me that a helmet is not just for safety, it's for sanity, and that windburn is for real. Hydration is non-negotiable, and that this old biker bod probably needs a few more core workouts before our next 1,000 mile weekend. But you know what? I'd do it again tomorrow. Just maybe with a better helmet, and some Gold Bond, and some Gatorade. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. So in the meantime, ride hard, stay salty, and don't forget to stop for Bigfoot next time.